Hello, everybody. This is Linda Brubaker, and this is Career Search Lunch and Learn. We are a career transitions support group. We're here to provide you with resources and tips and tricks and networking and some support as well along the way. We know that you don't really want to be here, and our goal is to give you the support and the tips you need to help you move on from this group to that next forever job or that next forever career. Now, as you know, if you've been here before, I don't believe in forever careers anymore, forever jobs. You always have to be networking. You always have to be looking. You always have to be making sure that you are out there, shining your own light, okay, so that you find the roles that are always the best ones for you. And that's really what we're looking for in these roles. Oops, sorry about that. That just said we were going live. I just forgot to turn off the sound on YouTube. Well, that's what we're here for. So let me tell you first a little bit about me. I am a former HR business partner, a hiring manager, an internal recruiter, an external recruiter, executive search consultant, and I've managed recruiters both inside and outside of companies. Done that for well over 20 years. I've been a dedicated career coach now for the last 8 years. And the reason that I'm telling you all this, giving you that background, is that I want you to know that the information you're getting, that you get on all of these sessions, on the posts, in these meetings, in the one-on-one coaching that I do, comes from a basis of fact. It's not just, here's what I think works. It's, I know it works from the inside of organizations. I know it works from the outside recruiting standpoint. I know it works from the career coaching standpoint. And I'm constantly looking at and communicating with people who are in the field, other recruiters, HR professionals, hiring managers, making sure that whatever information I'm providing to you is current, up to date, and works in your best interests. Now, I'm going to tell you that I support this. This is my labor of love. This is my give back, or my pay it forward. And I've been doing these now for the last 8 years. And I love this kind of an opportunity to be able to give back to everyone. I support this by doing private coaching. So if anybody is interested, this is my only sales pitch, and I'm going to put it in the chat, right? I work with individuals one-on-one on all aspects of that career search. Everything from trying to decide what you want to be when you grow up, at least today, to how do you get there? How do you put your materials together, and how do you do the interviewing? Whether you're selling yourself in a new job or whether you're selling yourself in career, in your own personal career. So that's me. I'm going to put the information in the chat. I'm also going to remind everybody to add their own information into the chat. Please, let's connect with one another so that we can keep these conversations going. Make sure that your LinkedIn URL is a clickable link so that we can connect with you. Now, LinkedIn has limited, for those of us who have free accounts, only 2 connection request messages a month. Not good. But if you see that other people are in this group and they're reaching out to you, I'm hoping that you're going to be willing to accept that connection request even without the message attached. Okay, we want to be able to find ways of building those connections. As I mentioned, we have a private group. A private group on LinkedIn means that LinkedIn hosts it, but you can't find it or join that group unless you ask to join. So this is the way you ask to join. We now have over 400 members of that group. It's another way to share job opportunities, to share information, to do some networking, to ask questions and see what we can do about it. I'm going to turn this over now. If whoever just said that it allows 5, they're rolling out the 2. Mine just got cut back to 2.
Eliminated altogether.
That's a total drag.
It's ridiculous. But that's one of the things we need to be able to push back on with LinkedIn. So if enough of us complain, hopefully they will change that again. And one of the things we need to do is come up with alternative ways of connecting without wasting those LinkedIn messages or connection messages. I don't know that when everybody is going to get it, but it seems to be rolling out, and unfortunately, I got hit last week. Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, so that's me. I'm going to put my information, the rest of it in the chat. I'm happy to have a quick conversation with anyone who wants to just get some additional information, has a quick questions and so on. By the way, as we move forward, if you have a question, please put the word question all in caps in the chat before you write your question. If you have an idea for a future session, because we want to make sure these sessions work for you, put idea all in caps in the chat. And then let's move forward from that. We're going to try and monitor that and get you going. And if you're new to the group, okay, if this is your first time, please let us know and put the word new. We'd like to be able to get 2 or 3 of you to be able to introduce yourself as we move forward. That said, hi, Sue. Sue is somebody who's here almost every week as one of our additional supporters and coaches, and I'd love to have her give the opportunity to introduce herself as well.
Thanks, Linda. Linda and I found each other a few years ago, which is great. When Linda was talking about how she keeps up with everybody on what goes on nowadays, not just from her vast experience before she started doing her professional coaching, it is also important for you to realize that we keep up with things because we hear from you all. So we're hearing the most up-to-date experiences, horror stories, sometimes great stories of getting feedback. And we want to help you realize the value that you're getting from this. How can you do that? I have to say, I'm happy to see the last few months, there's been much more engagement in the chat. But the engagement doesn't mean put in your stuff to link with each other. Yeah, that's really important for all of us with the intros. It is, as we go through each session, make yourself known for contributing. Don't just say, great point, Linda. Say, repeat the point she made or how you heard it, and say that and say why it's helpful to you. What does this do? This puts people in the mind of, here's someone who takes time to comment. Oh, I missed that point. That's great. You will also retain more yourself. And a lot of what we see, Linda and I, is being written, the state of the art is being written through conversations like we're going to have today, as well as in the chat. So help yourself by doing substantive commenting. And that's one of the ways you control your side of the conversation to get known and noticed. I also bring the pom-poms. I will celebrate every single win with my Mardi Gras pom-poms. Or maybe I'll change them for 4th of July next week. So thanks very much, Linda, for letting me introduce myself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sue. So yes, we want to make sure that you're successful. And one of the ways that you do that is by making those substantive comments, sharing the information not only in the chat, but on LinkedIn as well. It helps to make you the expert and helps to keep your visibility high, which is one of the things LinkedIn does best. Okay, but you have to take advantage of that. So if you see a post from one of us, comment. And a comment isn't just, yay, this is great. It's the why. We want to see those 5 to 12, and they keep changing that. I'm going to go with 8 to 12 words that say something substantive that helps to make you that person who's pushing things forward, right? I want to see your view, your comments, what's important for you as we move forward. So I'd love that. Okay. For those of you who are new to the group,
Nicholas,
yes, Joan.
I'm sorry. I forgot I wasn't on mute anymore. Sorry.
Okay, so we have enough people in the room. We're always smaller over the summer, and that's okay. It means that more of us get an opportunity to talk and share.
Could I share? I'll share something that I found. It's called Hunt.io, HUNT.io. And I read it in this LinkedIn book. And what it does is it helps you determine the email address of people so you can directly email them. So that's like something I just discovered. So for instance, I'm trying to reach someone and they'll tell me if it's first name dot last name at or first initial. Right now I'm on a free version of it. I'm not sure how many free emails they give you, but I think it's pretty cool.
Sounds good. Make sure that you add that information into our private group.
I think the name is hunter.io,
I
isn't
think
it?
Yeah,
that's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
what it is.
Hunter.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure everybody heard that
Right.
correctly.
Okay, it is something that people have found to be very useful. In some cases, at least it tells you the way of trying to format an email for someone in that organization. So that's great. So David, you'd asked a question about comments. What we're trying to say is that if it's just the thank you, this is great, it doesn't do you any good. What we're looking for, what LinkedIn is looking for, is something that is 8 to 12 words minimum, as well as that substantive content to be able to move you forward. You can do absolutely longer, but we're talking the minimum. Okay, so it's
Thank you.
going there. Uh-huh. Okay, perfect. So if you are new to the group, please raise your digital hand so we can introduce you at some point. Okay, if you'd like to. What we're looking for is a very short introduction. Okay. I'm not seeing any hands. By the way, if you don't know where those digital hands are, they're down at the bottom of the screen. Looks like a raised hand. If you can't see that, then just raise your hand in the air and wave it, and we will try and find you. While we're looking for those, in the meantime, one of the things that we do every week, I mentioned that this is a support group, a networking group in addition. So if you've had a quick win this week, okay, or since the last time you were here, would you please raise your digital hand and share it with us? And as far as I'm concerned, a quick win can even be you had an interview and it didn't go anywhere. Okay, you reached out and made some networking connections. Hello, Marion.
Good morning. I'm freezing.
You're
I just had 2 days of all-day training to be a juror for San Francisco Superior Court. And I was chosen as an alternate, but I still had to go through the training anyway. And I really hope they pick me when someone drops out because it would be a fascinating experience. And the pay is a whopping $15 a day.
yeah.
But still, I would learn a lot about the inner workings of the city government, which would
You're
be
going to be
very
rich.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's a great thing because it gives you not only that ability, it also gives you that networking ability as well. And you've
Exactly.
learned some new skills that you can now add. You've got your knowledge of government and the research.
Exactly.
So hopefully you'll get picked. Hopefully, if you do, that it's not too long a trial.
It's a year's commitment.
Oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
But so it won't be one trial. There will be several trials. But the trainers were excellent. And I'm really glad I did this. I did it just as on a whim to keep me out of the job hunt mindset funk.
Right.
So, and I'm really glad I did it.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah, let us
Marion,
know
is
how
it a
that goes.
grand jury? Sorry, Linda.
Yeah, it's a grand jury.
Grand jury. Okay, I think my father did that one years ago.
Okay. By the way, please don't just shout out. It's hard for us to hear you. We're just speaking over other people. So raising hands works. We'll try and get you or make the comments. That's great. Only time I've ever done it in the court, I've been called a couple of times and they've rejected me, but I've done it as an expert witness in appeals court. So that works. Thank you. Good luck. Okay. Interesting experience. Lisa,
Hello, can you hear me?
we can.
Cool. All right, so I applied for a job that at the zoo, which I've been looking at for years, and they just never really had anything that would fit me. And this job is a brand new position and it fits me perfectly. I have not heard from them, but I did see that the director of the department looked at me on LinkedIn. I've sent out, I know a lot of people there because I volunteer there and I volunteered there forever. So I have connected with as many, I'm telling you, maybe 20 people, more than that, just to, I don't know, we'll see. So it's a good feeling. That's
It
my
is.
story.
So what kind of role is it?
It is it's called Community Engagement Coordinator. So basically I would be working with events, going out and meeting the community. They do a lot of, they'll set up a table and they do a lot of environmental things and things like that. So it's kind of a cool front facing in the community position, which would be very, very fun. And
Okay.
I know I could do a great job. And a little bit of social media too, so it's up my alley.
Perfect. So let me make a suggestion for you. In addition to
Yes.
connecting with all of the people at the zoo, connect with some
Mhm.
of those community organizations
Okay.
that you might be working with. So if you're going to, if the zoo's going to be promoting them here, or these people promote activities at the zoo, coordinate with some of them.
Okay.
Start connecting with them, because that shows that you've got that community-minded feeling already.
Okay.
Okay,
Great advice. Thank you. I will
You're
do
welcome.
that. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Louis, if you want to talk, you have to put your camera on, or well, if you want to be spotlighted, but in the meantime, here we go. Hello there. Hello, Patricia.
Hi,
There
I
you
thought
go.
Lewis was going. I thought Lewis was going. I've had two things going on. I applied for a job on via LinkedIn, although it was just a pass through to the actual company site, and I was asked to take something called the Predictive Index, registered trademark, cognitive assessment, which was like a two-part thing. One was like going back and taking the SATs minus the verbal part. And anyway, so that was interesting. And I guess I'm waiting to hear from them. They tell you you may not ever get the scores, or who knows. But so that was sort of interesting. Got my geometry and logical reasoning question part of my brain thinking. So I'll wait and see what happens with them. I had an interview yesterday, technical interview. It turned out to be totally technical. So we'll see where it goes from there. Unfortunately, I didn't have all the details down. It's a little more technical than the kind of position that I'm usually doing, but um and I got an invite from that company, and it gave me the name of, interview with, and a person's name. And of course I looked them up on LinkedIn and I see who he is and everything. Well, it turns out that guy didn't do the interview. Somebody who was really just going through a list of questions. They film it or record it. And I guess a bunch of people, sitting around, probably, I drinking coffee and eating something, probably reviews everybody. So we'll see. I don't know.
That happens.
That's
So a
that.
lot of those interviews are going to be those standard questions that they ask everybody in the same order.
Yeah.
Not really a conversation.
No.
It's almost as if they were asking them in writing, because they have to get them all down. It's
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
their process to make sure that everybody answers them in the same way. So good luck. By the way, make sure that you connect with whoever you've on LinkedIn. In addition to
Yeah.
sending them thank yous, send them connection requests. And again, I enjoyed our conversation. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Right.
That's all you have
Right.
to say.
But what about even the guy whose name appeared on the
Yes.
invite, but who? Okay.
I missed you. I'm sorry we didn't get an opportunity to talk. I'm looking forward to that next time.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oops.
I'm unmuted now. Can I?
Yes,
I got-
perfect.
Okay, so
you.
mine is I had an interview yesterday. It's unconventional in the way that I got it, only because we all know we can apply on Indeed and ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn, which I do a lot of times, and press the button. And then, if I want to spend a little effort in networking in, great. If not, I just want to see, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, great. And I just hit the button and wrote it down and said I'd do something on it maybe later. But also went to their company website, as you're supposed to see, okay, is there an additional thing you need to do, apply on theirs? But they don't have anything like that. So they use ZipRecruiter specifically to source base, which is rare for most companies, but it's a small organization. Anyways, so she sent out an email the Wednesday before Juneteenth, and I didn't see the email till Friday, which is when she started the interview process. So by the time she got the email, since I'm in Tucson, I would have missed all of Fridays. And she had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. I emailed her and said, I'm really sorry that I missed it. I said I'd be happy. I gave my list of when I'm available, but please email me back if you're still taking, times. She emailed me back and said Wednesday, which is today, and at a time I could not do it, and I just said I'm really sorry, but I told her exactly what it was because you need to be honest. I said I have a doctor's appointment which I cannot cancel, and I said if there's any time you have on Tuesday, yesterday, I'm available, and I had open availability. She came back, she gave me the time. So I prepared for the interview yesterday. The most interesting part about it is it was a conversation. There were a couple not normal questions in the sense of tell me about yourself and all that. But I did ask her, could I take notes? And I did while doing so because that helps. And if I recommend anybody, just ask in the very beginning, before we get started, do you mind if I take notes? Because when it's virtual, you're looking down. They think you're not listening. So she agreed. And then before she got started with the interview, she had done some deep research into my resume. She had gone down to the middle and towards the bottom and pulled out stuff that sort of related to that I could relate to the job. So I was able to not, I usually would have brought it up in discussion, but she started it. So that was good. Here's the only thing. She said, we have several more interviews left. The next interview, she said very upfront in the very beginning, she would say, what will we be doing next? She said, by the end of the week, most likely I will have a decision made on in-person interviews. So this doesn't have to be answered now for a time, but maybe later towards the end. But if she offers an in-person interview, I'm in Tucson, Arizona. That job's in Atlanta. My question is, if I just say, well, for the next few weeks, I'm out in Tucson, Arizona, is there any way we can do that second round of interviews virtually? Because it would be with the CEO and her and possibly one other person, because there's just no way I would be able to quickly get there, do an interview, because there could be a third round. And if it's the last round, but I don't think it is. I think they're going to do one more. So, but it's a positive in the way that it happened.
It is.
And I was going to say, and I sent very nice thank you last night, very specific, not that generic. Thanks. Look forward to hearing from you kind of attitude. So.
Okay. So a couple things. Marianne says maybe ask them to fly you to Atlanta. When you applied, you said that you were moving to Atlanta or you were in Atlanta, correct?
Well, no, and I didn't. They didn't ask, or we didn't have that discussion, so it was not brought up, and I didn't bring it up. So they don't have any idea at all. So that's the big caveat. No, she kind of is just maybe assuming. That's all.
Most people do. That you're local. Okay, especially because I think on LinkedIn, do you have Greater Atlanta?
I do. If you look me up, it does say that. Yep. Yes.
Okay. So unfortunately, in this economy, we're finding very few companies are willing to make those, let me fly you in. Very few companies are willing to make that, let me relocate you, okay, for a new job, unless you are at a certain level. Okay, there are some, but not as many as there used to be. So I like your idea of saying, I'm on vacation or I'm out here in Arizona for the next couple of weeks. I will be back in Atlanta on such and such a date. In the meantime, can we do this virtually? I'm happy to do that. Okay. And I will make an effort. I will ensure that I am in person for the final round, which should give you a little more time. Okay.
Right.
You don't even need to say the last piece, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But be careful.
Yeah. And I agree. And again, I don't want to lose out on the opportunity, but I need to be honest. And they're looking to onboard pretty quickly, it sounds like. So, I got to be honest. And if it is what it is. But I got the interview, and that's all that matters to me.
Absolutely,
that's a start.
Absolutely. So one of the other things that I wanted to mention is that when you're talking and you're doing a virtual interview, and you want to take notes, don't take them on a piece of paper beside you. Minimize your screen and put up a blank document on the side That way you don't have to look down. You can just look slightly to the side. It looks like you're just thinking.
Yesterday I forgot about
And you have
that.
plenty of room to do that.
And I didn't want to fumble too much. So thank you for that. I forgot about that.
No problem. Okay, thank you. Good luck. Keep us posted. Good morning or afternoon. Hi, Debbie.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. So
Oh,
you going to
good.
share your quick
So,
win?
yes, my quick win. So, my background is mental health billing, and I decided to take a pivot yesterday and applied for a medical receptionist position that I totally am excited about. And on the online application through their website, they didn't have a means to attach the cover letter because I wanted to explain it looks like I'm overqualified for this position, but I really have a strong passion for patient support with empathy. So I created a cover letter. I found on their website how to get a hold of their career department, and I sent them an email. And while in session here, they just emailed me back and stated that they're forwarding my email to the hiring manager for possible phone interview.
Perfect. It's great. I
Yes.
love that kind of initiative. That's fantastic. For future reference, if there is no opportunity to attach a cover letter because
Mhm.
they're only letting you upload one document, for
Yes.
that resume, attach your cover letter, make your cover letter a page of that resume.
Okay.
That way
All
it's
right.
just one document and you still get that opportunity to do it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. Keep us posted.
Will do.
Any other quick wins in the room?
I don't know if you'd call this a win, but
I don't know who this is.
This is Joan, sorry. Joan
Joan, next
Fortman.
time, can you raise your hand, digital hand, because there was somebody else who did as well. So we don't just,
I'm on my phone right now, so I'm getting really confused because my computer has a virus. If anyone has any input on that, I think I gotta take it somewhere because literally my laptop just got a virus. Does
Oh.
anyone have any suggestions? I'm on my phone right now, but my laptop has a virus. Do I take it to that place at Best Buy? Those
Geek Squad.
Geek Squad, take it to Geek Squad. You think that's the best thing?
That's what I do.
Could be.
It
Yeah.
works all the time.
It
Okay.
totally
Anyway,
has a virus. Go ahead.
could you
Well, my
give it to
win,
everyone?
my win is that I have LinkedIn Premium, and I'm excited because I took Chat GPT for sales. So I'm finding I'm also going to take Google Sheets. So I feel like even though I'm not getting many job interviews right now, at least I'm upping my skill set.
Good. And make sure you're adding that to your LinkedIn profile as well. And
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
add that to your skills as you're moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's what I wanted to share.
Perfect. And I saw somebody else who was waving your hand. Kathy, you were just waving your hand in the air. Do you have a,
Yeah, I
One
can't
that you'd
figure
like
out
to
where
share?
the hand is on my screen today.
that's all right.
Just the thing about the cover letter, because last time I applied for a job, there was just the one continent, so it's been a while. And I was starting to send out applications, and I was like, they're not asking for a cover letter. Where do I put a cover letter? Well, this is so weird. And my daughter, who's in college, says, and they're getting training on how to apply for jobs, says, oh, you're supposed to have that as page 1 of your resume. Everybody knows that. And I said, well, I didn't know that. She said, just put it in as page 1 because half of the people will have add additional document or add cover letter, and half of them never do, but they want you to have a cover letter anyway. And she said they were told it's understood. That's what you're supposed to do when you send a job application in over the company application box.
Yep. So you can either make it the first page or you can make it the last page, either one.
Yes.
But absolutely include it if you only have that single document. I'm glad they're telling people that in schools. Good. I will tell you as a former recruiter, cover letters make a difference. I may not read it all. I may not always read it, but if I'm in doubt, okay, if I want to hear the motivation, that cover letter is going to tell me whether or not I want to talk with you. So absolutely include it. And by the way, the ATS system reads cover letters too. So the words that you're including there, whatever you're adding there also gets read by that ATS system. So when you're doing the cover letter, it's more about what you can bring, why you're interested, as opposed to just repeating what's in your resume. I don't need that. I want to know why you want this specific job, not just a job.
So the other thing, I went to a job fair and I had downloaded the app and I have my digital personal business card and I submitted a resume through their website, blah, 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 blah. I get there and their resume viewing app is not working for anybody. So I went to the head of IT. I ended up with the head of IT saying, I can't get my thing to work. What's going on? There's like this line of 15 people behind me who also can't get it to work. We ended up passing out paper resumes because we are all old and we all brought 5 copies of a paper resume. So just saying, even though my daughter laughed at me for printing them out, I did pass out my paper resumes.
Yep. Okay. Never a bad idea to have that kind of a backup. Hello, Caroline. There you
Hi.
go.
So I just wanted to put it out there in case you haven't been, because I know I didn't do it until recently. If you go to the Goodwill place, they have a career center beside most of them. And in the career center, if you sign up, then you can get into the events login. And when you get into the events login, they have different classes that you can take to up your skills if you want to learn different computer skills. And then if you visit the Goodwill centers, they tell you, that gclearnfree.org. And then if you visit the Goodwill centers, they tell you when the job fairs are. And also sometimes they have you going into the different places. And then when you're in there, you meet the hiring people and then you learn more about whatever company that you might be interested.
Mhm. So do the research. That's great information. By the way, that gcflearnfree.org is something that I suggest for a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with it. They're very short. It's a module-based system. It's all online. They can have 30 modules per idea, and you get to choose which one you want. But each of them is going to be about 20 minutes. It's a short piece to read, a short video, and a short practice area. And you can do it as often as you want. It's free. It's another way of upping your skills. They've got so many different opportunities out there to do something. I was talking with somebody yesterday who said, I know how to type. I do all of that. I use the computer really well, but in IT, I've never been a touch typist because I didn't need to be. And she needed to learn how to do that touch typing. So I sent her there. But you can upgrade your skills that way. My only suggestion is if you are doing those, okay, I would just say that you took a refresher course in or a course in. You don't have to say where it came from. Okay, the GCF Learn Free is a great site to learn from. It isn't necessarily a great site to say that that's your reference site. Okay, but absolutely great ideas. Okay. Any other quick wins that somebody wants to talk about? Okay. Last chance for somebody new to introduce themselves. Otherwise, we're going to get into our topic.
Hi, I'm new. My name is Julie, and I'm from the DC area. I put my information in the chat. I'm an attorney. I was impacted by the federal sector, and I'm trying to. I would try to get another federal job if there were one. But I've done corporate finance, project finance, legislative affairs, strategy advising, policy advising, and I've worked in the areas of transportation, veterans, environment, and energy. So I'm happy to connect, and I'm sorry I'm having technical issues like a lot of people are today. And thank you for having this.
Well, of course. I'm glad that you could join us. Sorry you're here, but I'm glad that you joined us. And thanks for introducing yourself. I noticed that Ken Lang just joined the group. Trying to find you on screen. Ken, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I've been on the call for a little while, just listening in. I'm here in Northern New Jersey, happy to support everyone here. I do mentoring. I attend networking events. I'm a career coach at Leac Harrison, and Sue Griffey and Lisa Vitale Hess and I will be seeing each other in Detroit in another week and a half. Lisa did not mention the new job that she's been given by us as an event planner, and it's definitely something worth including on your profile. So it's great to be here, everyone.
Nice to see you too, Ken. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So one of the things we're talking about today, by the way, reminder, if you have questions, please make sure that you add them into the chat with the word question all in caps. If you have ideas for future programs, okay, or future speakers, please let us know. We do this every week. In fact, this program topic was suggested by somebody who unfortunately couldn't come at the last minute. But so she's going to watch it in the rerun. But we want to make sure that these really work for you. So we want to hear your ideas as we continue to plan. So the topic today really is that whole idea of, is it a straight line ladder anymore in terms of career? Should it be? Okay. I don't know about you, but I've taken some side steps along the way, and they're deliberate side steps. For some of them, they're deliberate. For some of them, it's not. It's really a change. And the whole idea of career ladder, that everything has to go from here to here to here, is changing. Many of us are slower to understand that than some of the career coaches, and more importantly, some of the employment people out there. Companies understand that if you want to broaden your appeal within the company, you want to keep learning new skills, you, instead of looking at your career as a ladder, it's really more of a lattice. The difference is that career ladder says up, up, up. Well, there are only so many ups you can take. There are only so many people who can make those moves. Not only that, the up, up, up varies from company to company. We don't know whether a job title in this company is equivalent to a job title in the other. So focus in on what you want to do and what you want to learn. The advantage of talking about it as a career ladder, a lattice, okay, sorry about that, but a lattice, L-A-T-T-I-C-E, is that it understands that there are lots of different ways of looking at things. And that sometimes we make a move to the left, we make a move back a little bit in terms of title, perhaps. But the idea is to learn something new, to broaden your skill set, to broaden that experience, to continually learn and find not only what you do, but find new ways of doing it. That lattice approach is becoming more and more acceptable, not only among people who are looking for jobs, but from people who are trying to not only hire, but retain employees. One of the things we know from all of the things that are happening out there is that people want the opportunity to continue to learn and grow. You want that as an employee or potential employee. I want that as your employer. I want to give you those opportunities. And the best way to be able to do that is to recognize that sometimes those opportunities come from taking a role in another department, from broadening that skill set outside your standard role. It gives you the ability to broaden your appeal to the company, not only within that company, but between companies. And it gives you the opportunity to really not only just broaden that skill set, but find new things that you might be wanting to, okay, to do, things that you really enjoy, and how can you use them better? So for example, looking for you on screen. So Debbie mentioned that she really has that patient focus, that customer focus, and she can use it in one way, but she can also use it in another. I see some of you Joan mentioned that she was taking classes in AI for sales. It's another way of broadening it. It may or may not be useful in this current job market that she's looking for, or in the next job that she takes, but it's a way of broadening and expanding what she's doing. So they're really an important way of adding and building to your success. Has anybody taken some of those side steps or back steps? Besides me? Okay. Ellen, you mentioned that you have. Would you care to talk about it?
Sure.
You're willing.
Thing.
Oops.
And
There you go.
I've been on this call a couple of times. I know Sandra. I recognize Sandra Goza, and I've learned a lot from her about AI. I've been on a lot of her webinars as well. And I did an an AI course for HR mastery. I got a certificate in that because it is the future. And I mean, it's the present actually. And I've learned a lot and I'm really educating myself with that. I haven't worked. I've been out of work for quite a while, but I'm taking a lot of courses. I signed up for volunteer work at our local hospital. Even that's taken a year. I went for orientation. I mean, because they don't have any processes in place. But I'm doing that along the line of talent acquisition, and I do a lot of in-person networking. But what I've done is in the past, because recruiting is always like the first to go in any company, I have done like administrative work or just stepped into, even during the pandemic, I signed up to work at Lenox Hill Hospital in employee health services during the pandemic, and on the day the vaccine was released. So we got like 147 calls a day, but I was helping employees who were quarantined and everything. So, it was just roll up your sleeves and do it all, because my skills I've used are transferable. And that's the way I like to work and I'm kind of open to that right now. I'm not just focused on HR, even though I've done that my whole life. I kind of open up for other opportunities, because you never know, even if you volunteer and network, what doors will open and what people you'll meet then.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to be here, Linda, and it's great to see Sandra too.
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
Sandra, I see you have your hand up.
My entire career has been one of numerous side steps, and it's been one of opportunity and referral. And so I've worked in clinical neurosciences as managing a program, a stroke program between two major hospitals and their executive teams. I've worked, and so that's in healthcare, plus worked in oil and gas, in investor relations, corporate governance, regulatory compliance, taking companies public on stock exchanges, both in Canada and the US, plus also working in microbiology, life sciences, selling microbiology products into the food safety industry, managing the activities between science teams, operations, plus also client requirements in scientific validation studies. You name it. Like, I have such a diverse background, but the one thing that I've noticed about myself is that I require a highly technical environment in order to stay motivated. And I have a high capacity for learning. And even in my last role, I was responsible for global business development and sales, selling products into various global jurisdictions, whether it be Europe, the US, South America, Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, plus managing all of those customer requirements, regulatory environments, ISO certifications, regulatory certifications. So, you can throw anything at me and I would do it. I would be able to solve the problem.
And that's one of the benefits of looking at a career as a career lattice, okay? Going to different perspectives, because what it does is it gives us the ability to show our versatility. It gives us the ability to really talk about how we can bring additional resources into what we do. And so it's such an important aspect, not just for new companies, but for us. The biggest issue that many of us have is not choosing to take those roles, is how do we talk about them in interviews? Why are we taking that? Okay. And what you do is talk about it, as Sandra just did. It gives me the ability to broaden what I bring to you. Okay. It allows me to add new experiences, new industries. So those were deliberate choices. And I'm excited because now I can bring all of that to what I do for you. And it's a great way of phrasing it. It's not, oh, I had to. It's, yay, look at me and look at all I can bring to you. So that's really the way to do it. And I see that we've got one hand up here, Paula.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I love to see a lot of familiar faces. In my 26 years of career, even though it was with the same company, I started in the technical area, and then I moved to sales, and I also did customer service. I did marketing. I did basically everything what was put in my hands. And one of the advantages that I saw, and this is a message I'm trying to get through during like my job searching process, is I not only see my side of the story, I can see now the side of the other people's story. You know, like when I was in sales, I was thinking about customer care just being order takers. And when I was working on the customer care side, I realized that's more than that. So for me, it's creating empathy, it's creating knowledge about what's really behind their role. And that brings a lot of expertise with mentorship, managing, and team leadership. On the other hand, I do volunteering as well. And actually, I'm going back to the hospital. Used to volunteer in Penn Med here in Jersey for the ER. So now that they learned that I'm searching for a job, they just call me back saying like, we need help. And they actually offering me, not really like a job, but it's a volunteering thing again. But when they're reaching out to me saying like, oh, we need help, do you want to come back? And they're not offering me the part of volunteering in the ER, but because of the background that I created on all this learning about the systems, they're asking me to be part of the office, like volunteering on the office for the system. So now I have access to like the Penn Medicine Network, like if I was an employee. And I think that's moving a little bit further in what my goal. I'd love to work at the hospital. And I also just finished like an AI certificate. So I'm trying to get all this learning from everywhere, not trying to do all of it at once, because I've learned that if you try to be an expert on everything, you're an expert on nothing. So that's my experience, is like just learning about what other people do that you interact with. So that creates empathy, and that creates like a lot of like a better understanding of
It
what
does.
you're really looking
And I
for.
love the fact that they called you back to the hospital to see if you'd
Yes.
like to do another role. Because what that says is, number one, they like what you did. Number two, it's giving you now the opportunity to broaden your experience within the hospital, as well as get those networking connections and that experience you can add to your resume.
Yep. Yeah, and actually that's what
And
I'm putting
LinkedIn.
now in as my job. Like because I had like the AI certification, I put that as my current job. Now I'm finishing it by the end of the month, and now that I'm going back to the volunteering, I'm putting the volunteering on the Penn Med like my current job.
Exactly. And that's perfect. It
And-
also gives you the opportunity to do continuing networking within the hospital and that
Yep.
hospital system. They not only can see what you do, but now they've got those additional connections. So make sure you're connecting with them and constantly looking.
Oh,
You now have
definitely.
all those internal references for those hospital jobs, which
Yeah,
is
and
fantastic.
I'm hoping to get.
Okay, in
I've
addition to
told them like I want to stay here, but they told me like currently I don't have any positions, but I'm on the list, you know.
exactly. Exactly right. That's perfect. And the other thing is that when you're volunteering at the organization, in many cases, they will view you as an internal candidate because you have all of those internal references.
Yep.
Which gives you that leg up to begin with. Okay,
Um,
congratulations.
can I ask a question? This is Joan.
I'm hearing an who's that from? Sure, John. What's your question?
Joan. Yeah, my
Yes,
question
what's your
is,
question?
where did you take that AI? Where'd you take that AI class? Because I'm on YouTube and it's constantly trying to get me to take a AI class for people over 60 and AI class for people over 50. Is there a class I should be taking?
Well, there's a lot of LinkedIn learning.
Okay.
I did this with the MIT, so it's like a certification for the MIT. So basically,
Right.
I took half of my severance to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
But I really think it was a good opportunity. But yeah, there's a lot of AI on LinkedIn Learning. I'll share in the chat one that I found like really appealing.
Good. Yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah,
looking for the
you can also
basic. Yeah.
Yes.
You can
yes.
also look for some of the courses on Coursera, Coursera.
Mhm.
Great learning opportunities. There are some good free AI courses on Coursera that you can take as well. Okay, they're not going to be heavily in depth, but they're going to give you enough of a background so that you have a little knowledge and it can be dangerous. Charles. Unmute.
Sorry, I've said it before, but there are new people on the call. Check with your local library. Your library may give you access to LinkedIn Learning, even if you're not a LinkedIn Premier customer. So your library card may provide you that access, and then you can take courses there. And I know there are some more involved LinkedIn Learning courses, and I know there's Maven Analytics does a lot of, well, I guess they do more data analytics. They have some free courses that are available too. For me, it was exposure, and I posted something in the chat about your everyday AI. The guy is out of Chicago. He does a daily podcast, live stream newsletter. And he goes into a lot more depth than I do. He talks about every model from every company and strength and weaknesses, but it's really eye-opening, was very eye-opening to me. And I sold and sell in technology, and it was still eye-opening about the things you can do with AI. I don't follow every sort of weave and dodge he has, but it is free. It's eye-opening. He does a live stream at 7:30 Central on YouTube, and that's recorded, and you can actually see what he's clicking on when he walks through certain things. It took a while for me to get up to understand all of the, what he was talking about, but it's an introduction if you find that getting pushed into the deep end and not being able to swim is helpful.
Absolutely. There are lots of resources out there. The idea about going through the library, now not all libraries offer it, but if your library does not offer LinkedIn Learning to their library card members, and not all of them do, you can check to see whether or not they have a program called Gale Courses, G-A-Y, yeah, I think it's G-A-Y-L-E, but it may be, no, it's G-A-L-E, excuse me, G-A-L-E courses, very similar to LinkedIn Learning platforms. Some libraries will offer one, some will offer the other, but those same kinds of learning programs that you can take. If you have resources for training programs, okay, we're going to try and put together a list. You can DM me with some of the list. You can put them in the chat and I will add them to the list. You can add them into our private group, but we want to make sure that we can share those resources with everybody so that everybody gets those opportunities. Okay. Both paid and free. Now we know that paid is tough for a lot of people, so we're going to try and recognize which ones are which. Can't always do that. Try. Okay. So see what you can find out there, and they're really good. By the way, if you share the fact that you have taken a certain LinkedIn Learning class on LinkedIn, sometimes, not always, sometimes LinkedIn will say, if you say, yeah, this is really great, it gives you the opportunity as the person who says it's great to take that course free for 24 hours, even if you don't have that paid account. So that works as well. The one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about is the impact of taking some of those side steps. How do you talk about them when you're talking about them on your resume or in your interviews? So let's do that for another session, if that's okay, unless somebody has a specific question today. Okay. Yeah. Nice to see so many of you. Okay. I'm happy to stay longer. Okay. I can stay for another 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, I want to remind you, as people are starting to drop off, to copy the chat. To copy the chat, the easiest way is to go up to the top of the chat where it says Job Search Lunch and Learn, go to the 3 dots beside that, click on that, and it will say save the chat, and then it will give you the option of doing that. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way, go into chat, do Control-C, or Control-A, Control-C, and then copy it into a document of your own. I will have the chat in our private group by tomorrow. I try and keep the links clickable. Sometimes the LinkedIn gods don't let me do that. Okay. But my hope is to be able to do that as well. But please, one of the things that I ask is that you add some of those courses either into our private group or into the chat so that we can build a database of our own for people to use. I'll put it into a shared Google Doc or shared Google Sheet, not sure yet which, so that we can have those resources and we can continually update and add. But it's going to take your assistance in order to do that. Yes, Paula.
Yeah, just thinking about what Charles was mentioning about the library. I found out that my local library has like this small meeting rooms that you can book. And they're like small offices and where you can have an interview or something. If you're at home and your environment is not that good or whatever,
yep,
they offer like this small rooms for you to go and do interview, do calls, do stuff like that. So check on your local library because they may have that option too, which I think it's amazing because then you don't get distracted. You're in the library, which is quiet. It's a shut door and no background you need. It's a white wall. So
a great idea. I would recommend if you're doing that you ask to book for 2 hours so that you don't get kicked up or interrupted. You want to be able to get set up and be comfortable and then have a couple of minutes afterwards if it goes a little longer.
Yeah, I think in the Princeton one that I go, the Plainsboro one, New Jersey, I think you can book it for up to 4 hours.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
The other thing is to check out your local library to see what kinds of classes they may offer. Because they may offer some free classes for you as well. Okay. They are not going to be in great depth, but they're still good classes to take. And they're going to give you enough of a background that you either get a refresher or you get some information that you can use. So keep looking at those as well. Yes, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't put my camera on. Same suggestion you
okay.
just made. Also, community colleges offer, I know in New Jersey, they offer free, you could take, if you're unemployed, you could take classes for free. So you can take a look at that too.
Yeah, so there are some free classes that they will offer. They offer some community classes and some of your local high schools may offer those as well as your local libraries. Your local unemployment office, you don't have to be getting unemployment in order to do it, but check to see whether or not they offer free classes to some cases. And then there is a program called WIOA, which is, I think, what you were referring to, Jim. Okay. WIOA is the Workforce Innovations Opportunities Act. It is a federal program. It's a grant program. It provides free training in a number of different areas for people who are looking to upgrade their skills or learn new skills specifically to get a job. The amount of money that they offer you for that training varies depending upon the state and actually depending upon the county within the state. But it is a federal grant program administered by the states. It is a great opportunity to pick up some new skills. If you are interested in the WIOA programs, I'm happy to talk. I don't know all the criteria. I've chosen not to because federal grants, I don't want to know everything. But They are relatively easy to get, although it may take you up to 3 to 4 weeks to qualify. The big problem that I have with WIOA grants is that you have to be careful about the training programs that you research and you get. The outside training providers will all know the amount of money that you have, and their goal is to sell you the program and to use all your money, not necessarily to find you the right resources. So if you are taking those WIOA courses and want to find out more about them, please DM me, let's have a conversation, and let me see if I can help point you in the right direction. Not everybody needs to have certain classes. You want the ones that are best for you, not the ones they want to sell. Yes, Carolyn.
Speaking of that, I tried to do that, and now that there's been that federal cutbacks, I guess the office that used to do it had closed. So I still don't know how to do it at all. So
Yeah, it's tough. There are a lot of cutbacks that are affecting it. That's absolutely true. So what I would do is go to your career one-stop site. Okay, the unemployment, and there should be a link to training.
Well, that's what they told me to do. Because first off, getting your unemployment was a little hard. You had to go into the WorkSource program and make sure your resume was online in order to get your employment payments made. But then as far as like going to a different place, so I went to my county area where you're supposed to be able to get the work WOIA or WIOA information. I went, but then I guess it closed because the phone number is not working anymore. And there was only one person in there when I went. So it's just very difficult to find any information out.
Unfortunately, it is. Let me see what I can't find. DM me on, okay, on LinkedIn, or send me an email, Carolyn, and let me see whether we can't find that resource for you.
Okay.
What other topics would you all like to see? Because I'm planning now for July and hopefully August. Okay. What other speakers would you like? Okay. Don't need to know now, but do let me know so that as I'm putting these together, we can make sure that they work for you. Any other questions that I can answer for anyone today? Would you like me to do a session on how do you talk about taking those side steps in interviews? Would you like to do another session on AI? Would you like to do another session on LinkedIn? Where do you want me to go? Okay, because I've got lots of things we could do.
Linda, this is Paula. I think that having a meeting about like stress, anxiety, or like resilience, something like that. And because we all tend to compare to each other, and from the leader that was laid off at the same time as I was, I'm the last one that doesn't have a job yet. And I I think I'm doing everything that I need to do, but then I'm not getting like the results that I'm looking for. And I'm getting a little bit frustrating because friends and relatives are asking me, how's the job hunting doing? And whatever I say, it's like, well, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And I know I need to deal with those kind of things at the same time with my own stress, like something like that kind of emotional on that part. I think that that would be a good one.
Good. So the best thing to do with family and friends, thank you so much for your suggestions. And then turn to change the conversation.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's basically
Don't get
what I
into the
do.
conversation. Don't get into the. Yep, it's all you
That's
can do.
basically what I do, and then I
Everybody wants
change
to
the
be
topic
helpful.
about like, tell me how you're doing. And that's
Exactly.
it.
Yep. Yep. Or have you heard about? Or when are you going to do this? Yep. Something entirely different.
Yeah.
Okay. Other ideas. Again, you can put them in our private group. You can message me. You can, it's hard to be around people if they're constantly asking you. You feel like they think you're always in the wrong, and you're not. You're doing everything you can. I know you're doing everything you can. I know how tough this job market is. Okay, it truly is. And some of us are so very specialized that trying to find something that matches is tough. So that's why it's important to be able to look at how can those skills be used outside of that specialized niche.
Have you talked about like changing paths, like changing careers, Linda? I'm sure, but I don't know. I've been attending the sessions, which I love, like for only, I think this
Good,
month.
thank you.
So I don't know if there's anything about like changing paths, changing careers, like evaluating if you want to like, like do your own company or buy a franchise or.
We have talked about the idea of self-employment. So there's another thing that you can do if you're interested in that self-employment. Let me see if I can find the link. So Brenda Miller, okay, is a great resource. She's one of my go-to people. The first, sorry, I'm just trying to pull the information. The first
Sure.
Friday of every month.
Okay.
She does something called it's a VIP office hours for the self-employed or those thinking about it. I'm one of her all-stars and I'm there to support her and all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's 9 o'clock, oh, excuse me. It's 10 o'clock Eastern. Okay. And yes, we're even going to be doing it on the 4th of July. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. I love
Thank
the
you
fact that
very
we're all
much.
bringing these topics. Okay. Now there's another way that you can add topics. Okay. I put together a Google Sheet that you can add your own information to. Everybody who has this link has the ability to both access and edit. In other words, add your own information. If it's a topic you really like that's already there, tell me. Okay. Put a note beside it. Like a me too. Okay. Send me a message because I go through that. I want to make sure that what we're doing is there. And as I said, I've been doing these for 8 years, so I have lots of topics in my back pocket, but I want to make sure that they really work for you because markets have changed over the last 8 years. Okay.
I just had
Sometimes
a,
I do repeat myself. Yes.
this is Joan. I had another question. You don't have like a Google Sheets with everyone's information so people can link in with each other.
No, we don't.
No. Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
But you can go to our private group, Joan. And if you're a member of our private group, you can connect with other people in the group.
What's your private group? I'm not on my laptop right now. Okay,
Okay, it's Learn with Linda. Okay, and there's the link to it.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know whether you're part of that group yet or not, but I'll check.
Well, and Linda, this is Lewis, and the good thing about your group is if you're not connected to that person, you can still send them a message, and then say, "Hey, I'm going to be sending you a connection request." There's the
Exactly.
there's the back door to only having 2 notes you can send. If being a part of a group, if someone you're really trying to talk to or get to, if they're a member of that same group, send them a message. Say you're going to ask to connect with them. The least they could do is maybe connect with you or respond to that message, including people from our group.
Exactly. By the way, if you are not connected to somebody in the group, and it may be just that I'm the administrator, I haven't checked, but I think that there is a way for you to send a connection message or just a connection request to individuals within that group without even a message.
Yes,
So double check.
yeah, Linda, you're correct.
Okay, now, my only suggestion, so that LinkedIn, granted, it's hidden from LinkedIn, but I wouldn't send more than 10 of those group message or those individual connection requests a day. Okay, I might limit it even to no more than 10 a week, because we don't want them to call us out and stop that. But for example, if you all ask to join the group and we aren't connected, I'm going to immediately send you a connection request. And if we're not connected, why not? Right? If you're connected to me, it also means that you have information or you have access to my network.
Linda, I was going to say, if the question is, how do you know if the connection request came from someone who's in your group? The answer is, if you click on them to look at their profile, it'll show you who they're connected to. And if you see someone like you or Ken
Exactly.
or Sue or some of
Right.
the people who are more vocal on the calls, then you can say that I trust that user because
Exactly.
they're part of your group already.
Okay.
So.
And I am trying to, I think I'm connected. Well, as of last week, I think I was connected to everybody in the group, but 1 or 2 people who just hadn't responded yet. Okay. You can also put out a post in the group saying, hey guys, I'm going to try and send connection request messages to you. Please accept. Now, not everybody's going to read those messages in the group. We know that. But it works.
Well, this is Lewis, and I'll add one other thing. When someone sends you a request, maybe you're not on your LinkedIn, but you're on your phone, and like, who are these people? You could do what that other gentleman said, Charles, but you could also, if you can't see where it says send message, then hit see all, and it'll pop up every request of whatever. And there's a way to send them a message going, hey, it's very nice you sent the request. Can you tell me how we met? That way you're not thrown off. Yes, you should be able to see if you have familiar groups, but sometimes they're not a part of it yet. They don't have similar connections. You're like, who is this person? Right. And then hopefully they respond back and say, we met at Linda's Lunch and Learn. Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. Great suggestion. Bye, Lashana. Okay. I'm going to sign off in a minute. Make sure that you do copy those chats. Thank you all for everything. Okay. All the topic requests, I really appreciate it, and speaker requests. Please keep those coming and have a great week.
Thanks. Have a good week. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.